Well, thanks everybody for joining us for our Cincinnati Life Worksite webinar. We're going to go over quite a few things today. This will probably take about 30 minutes. And at the end of it, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us directly. For today's agenda, we're going to talk about some industry trends, show you how this program can help increase revenue and retention in your own agency, talk specifically about our worksite program and how it differentiates from other carriers that are out there, the product options and the benefits that are held within, the process itself, which is extremely important, and then also the promise and the potential that Cincinnati brings to the table when it comes to this particular market, and then most importantly, how to get started. Talk a little bit about the business market overview as we see it. These are from 2018 U.S. Small Business Administration Office of Advocacy. Over 30 million small businesses currently in the United States, and these are independent businesses with less than 500 employees. That constitutes 99% of all firms in the U.S., and they fit right into this particular market where our product really shines. Small businesses, which is obviously the engine for the U.S. economy, constitutes over 58 million employees currently, over 45% of the private workforce, of over just 200 or 124 million employees. It's the majority of new job creation out there, so we know that this market is a huge opportunity for you. Some of the trends that we've seen over time in employee benefits. Employees are looking for more personalized voluntary benefits. Rising demand for employee benefits to stay competitive in the job recruitment market also allows employees to customize benefits to fit their individual needs. And a group product doesn't always lend itself to do that. We believe in targeted education for the employees, and that's what we see the employees are wanting, and they depend on their employer for guidance in those arenas and for their employer to bring in trusted advisors such as yourself to offer these types of benefits. This comes from the latest LIMRA study on consumer thinking of life insurance. Over 40% of adults believe that they need to either increase or actually buy their first individually owned life insurance product. 55% don't buy because of other financial priorities, and we make these premiums extremely competitive and extremely easy to fit into just about everybody's budget. Moreover, 48% like the idea of simplified underwriting, and that wording gets a little tricky with us. Our underwriting for this product is actually guaranteed, so we don't ask any medical questions until we go above our guarantee issue limits. 55% of all consumers say they're more likely to purchase life insurance without a physical examination, and that fits right into our program. We never require any physical examinations to qualify for our worksite program. And this one is the most telling to me because this is the target that the market that we all want to go after, the millennials. 44% of millennials overestimate the cost of life insurance, and they didn't tell you by how much, but they overestimate it by the 400%. So affordability is usually not the issue. It's usually confusion on the employee's part as to why they need an individually owned life insurance product. Cincinnati, we're not new at the voluntary life insurance market. We've been using this worksite program for over 50 years. We have more than 4,000 in-force payroll deduction programs right now, meaning list bills. That doesn't include all of our groups that are direct bill to the employees because we have that as an option as well. More than 90% of those groups have less than 300 eligible employees, so you can see it's right in that middle to small market. Employer-based and individually owned, so this is an employee benefit at no direct cost to the employer, and we offer coverage options for not only the employee but also dependent spouses, spouses and dependent children, and even grandchildren. Ideal business profile, usually 15 to 150 employees, and obviously to qualify for the program, those employees must be working at least 20 hours per week at the time of enrollment. And the reason that we try to keep it at that 15 to 150 is really for the individual agent. If you get a group larger than 150 employees, obviously we'd like to look at those, but that is going to require some additional enrollment assistance. Do some parallels between group and individual. Our product is an individual life product. It just happens to be guarantee issue and on a list bill, so it can be payroll deducted. But group term life, which we sort of get commingled with, is really a one master contract that's controlled by and paid for by the employer. Typically, it's a flat amount that's offered to all employees that are eligible. Sometimes it can be a factor of their salary. And sometimes there's possible options for convertibility or portability, but typically those aren't affordable options. Our individual life product, it's the employee's decision to participate. It's completely voluntary. That's why we call it voluntary life. The employee owns and controls the policies, and there's no policy or premium change if the if the employee leaves that employer. It's simply a matter of where do we send that bill. The guarantee issue, this is available to eligible employees and family. The way that we always like to propose our enrollment is education is mandatory, participation is voluntary. So we want to make sure that we're educating all the employees as to what's being offered and let them make that educated decision. Employees actively working 20 hours per week are eligible. Spouses actively working at least 20 hours a week outside the home are also eligible. Children up to age 17 years, and even dependent children 18 to 25, as long as they're full-time students, unmarried, and non-military. Everyone in that first bullet point has some level of guaranteed issue. And when I say guaranteed issue, I mean it. We don't ask any medical questions. Extremely easy to apply. Once you see our application, it's like filling out a recipe card. There's never medical examinations required, no APSs or EKGs, MVRs, clue reports, script checks, none of that's ever done. The rates are all unisex, non-smoker and smoker rates, and the rates are all the same in every state. So if you have an employer that has multiple state locations, the rates are going to be the same, so there's no confusion for the agent there. And we have easy payment options. Payroll deduction is obviously the easiest option for everyone out there, and that's sort of the heart and soul of the worksite program. But we do have situations where employers aren't able to do payroll deductions, and so we end up doing those groups direct bill to the employees through EFT, Bankomatic, ACH, however you want to state it. Now we're going to go into the actual guarantee issue guidelines. The guidelines are based on a couple of things. One is the age of the employee, the spouse, or the child, and the other thing is the guaranteed issue amount. These aren't products. These are simply death benefit amounts. So you can see the employees just choose. In my instance, I'm 54 years old, so 51 to 60. My guarantee issue would be 75,000. But you can see I can go all the way up to a total of 200,000. Once I do that, then I am in the simplified issue world where we ask a few health questions. For spouses, the same qualifier applies. The spouses do have to be working 20 hours per week outside the home. If they're 18 to 60, they automatically qualify for a $15,000 whole life plan. If the employee does decide to participate, then the guarantee issue for that spouse goes up to now 25,000 of any product or combination of products. Again, children ages 15 days to 17 years automatically qualify for an individual $10,000 whole life policy. These are not riders. If they're 18 to 25, so we're looking at the college students here, again, unmarried, non-military, full-time students, we can do one of two things. We can either do the standard $10,000 whole life plan, or we can go up to our $25,000 straight term, or our very popular return of premium term. And that return of premium term is extremely popular for parents of college students. Simplified issue. When is it used? If the guarantee issues aren't offered to the group, if for some reason we're not getting the enrollment conditions, but we still want to offer a program to a particular employer, we can offer it through a simplified issue program, meaning that the guarantee issues off the table, everything is simplified. If the employee or one of the members or eligibles is purchasing above their guarantee issue limits, simplified issue comes into play. Simplified issues always used for grandchildren. Grandchildren are never guaranteed issue. It does require a supplemental application, but they're limited health questions and none of them are gatekeepers. It is subject to an underwriter's review, and we're currently issuing over 90% of those cases. So that's a pretty good acceptance ratio in that. There's no difference in the rates. It's just a matter of looking at the age and the death benefit that the person wants, and you've got your rate. Again, employees not required to purchase coverage to get coverage for spouses or dependents because these are all individual policies. And in most states, except for the great state of Pennsylvania, the employee can apply for up to $50,000 in coverage without the spouse's signature, and that is important when you're trying to write coverage. You can't be waiting around to have the employee take something home for a spouse's signature. So this does make it very convenient to get family coverage. I'm going to talk a little bit about our products and what we offer in the worksite arena. We offer a standard term product. It comes in either a 10-year or a 20-year level. Those premiums are guaranteed and renewable to age 100. The policy is fully convertible, just like any other term product you'd buy on the street that you'd go through full underwriting for, all the way up to age 70. The face amounts, just for ease of issue, are blocked in $25,000 increments. We do have a small sector of the 10-year level term for those folks 50 to 70, where we can go down to as low as $10,000 of coverage. The maximum amount that we can have in force with the term products with Worksite is a total of 100,000, and you can see the issue ages there: 20-year up to age 60, and the 10-year up to age 70. Our return of premium is an extremely popular program. There's not too many carriers out there that still have a true return of premium, but we do. Guaranteed level premium with a ROP feature. So it's convertible, just like a regular term product. They can still convert it up to the end of that 20-year term period. But at the end of the 20-year term period, if we've not paid out a claim, obviously, the employer or the insured has two different choices. They can either take a return of 80% of the premiums paid in, and that excludes riders like the children's term rider, or they have a reduced paid up term policy that's enforced to age 99. No more premiums are required. It is a reduced from the initial death benefit, but it still affords them a paid up policy that they never have to pay any more premiums for. Again, these the return of premium comes in $25,000 increments. The maximum, though, for this product is $200,000, because we do consider this a permanent product. You can go all the way up to $200,000 of coverage with the ROP. Again, issue ages a little truncated here, only available between the ages of 18 and 50. We do also offer whole life, and this is, to me personally, this is what I promote quite a bit. I believe everybody needs to have at least their final expenses taken care of through whole life. This is a great way to do it. Guaranteed premiums, cash values, and paid up insurance amounts. So there's non-forfeiture values, just like any other whole life plan you'd see. It is a non-participating whole life plan, but it does build cash value. Coverage remains in force to age 121. Face amounts are in $5,000 increments from 5,000, and that should say up to 200,000, but 5,000 all the way up to $200,000 of coverage. Easy way to get a lot of people in the family a little bit of coverage, and believe me, in the case of an unforeseen death, $5,000 can come in quite handy. Issue ages for the paid up at 65, meaning no more premiums are due after age 65. We can issue that all the way up to age 55. But the pay to 100 fits really everybody. You can see 15 days all the way up to 70 years. So everybody can qualify within those employee groups for the what we call the level pay or pay to 100 program. Just like any other individual program, obviously we offer certain amounts of riders. The most popular is the children's term rider, and I'll go into a little bit more benefit, or the description of that benefit here in a second. The accidental death benefit, it's the old double indemnity. So if cause of death is deemed to be an accident, we will pay an additional death benefit equal to the initial. The accelerated benefit rider, it's a no-cost rider that can be added at any time. What this does is provides a benefit to the insured that if either of these two triggers happen, they can access up to half their death benefit in advance. So the first trigger is terminal illness. If they're deemed terminally ill, less than 24 months to live, they can access up to half their death benefit. Or if they go into a nursing home facility for longer than 90 days with no anticipation of coming out, they can also access up to half their death benefit. And then we also offer a standard waiver of premium. After 120 days of disability, then that waiver of premium kicks in and no more premiums are due. Oh, I did want to go over, sorry, real briefly, the children's term rider. This is extremely important. We talked about the fact that there is an individual life policy that's available for dependent children. This is a rider that's attached to the employee's policy. It's an extremely inexpensive way to get coverage for children if you've got a large family. And this can be done in addition to that standalone individual whole life plan. So children ages 15 days to 18 years would be covered by this benefit. It's only $1 a week. Doesn't matter how many kids that you have, one child or 10. It's only $1 a week for the employee. And that gives every one of those children, naturally born, adopted, and stepchildren, that gives them all a $10,000 convertible term policy. At the age of 25, they have a choice. They can either let the coverage run out or they can convert that to a $50,000 whole life policy, no questions asked. So if you've got a family that's got some uninsurable children or children with disabilities, whatever it might be, this is a great opportunity to really double down and get them some extremely important and needed death benefit. Talk about our 7-step process. And this is a process that we've worked out with a lot of our strategic partners that do worksite with us on a daily basis. And they've really helped us sort of refine this. Step 1 is that employer meeting. And this is all part of next steps for you. So if you've got a client that you're looking at, that employer meeting is all important. Obviously, that's where everything's going to get set up. That's where you're going to sell them on the idea of the individual enrollment conditions, the program itself, what's available to all their employees and their dependents, and then third and not least important, but one of the most important things, get all the payroll deductions and that billing piece taken care of. And I want to let you know, myself, Nate, and the folks at Borden Hamman are always willing to have those meetings with you, with your employer, so we can help you iron out those details. But that's the big step. Once you get that employer meeting and we've gotten the conditions, then comes the time to what we call qualify the case or authorize the case. It's a simple form. The worksite case authorization just lets us know the basics about the group, who the contact person is, what industry they're in, what they mean to you as a client. Are they a new client? Are they a group client? Other benefits they might have in there. And then also the enrollment conditions and the timing of the enrollment. It lets us know all that so we can have all your materials prepared prior to the enrollment. Step 3 is the pre-enrollment communication. Extremely important. Again, we focus heavily on education. We strongly believe that we want you to build that relationship with those employees on an educator's basis, so then you can come in as a trusted advisor and help them make those critical decisions. And we can put together a lot of different materials. We do this a lot of different ways for agencies, virtually, snail mail, payroll stuffers, you name it. There's a lot of stuff that can be done. We promote heavily webinars and group meetings, and that leads us to step 4. Group meetings are not mandatory by any means, but they do go a long way into helping you with step 5. But those group meetings typically take 15 to 20 minutes. We've got PowerPoints and a lot of different materials that you can hand out during those group education meetings. It really helps bridge that relationship, break the ice, and explain what you're doing there and why you're offering this program. Step 5, those are mandatory. If you can't see them, you can't sell them. If you're not able to sit down with every employee and get them to make an educated decision on their participation, there's really no point. That's all set up in that step 1. So that's all hammered out during that employer meeting. Then after the applications are taken, and again on those first few cases, Nate and I are always available to help you scrub those applications, because we want to get them from submission to commission as soon as possible. So the case submission, policies are issued and delivered directly to the employees. So agents don't have to deliver policies, they're mailed out directly to the employees. And then that initial list bill comes out. Now, typically that initial list bill is sent directly to the employer, because we assume that we've got everything right, and we want to make sure that up front. And if we have time to do it, we make sure that first list bill is correct. If not, this is what I suggest. I suggest having every agent deliver their initial list bill. Gives you an opportunity to wrap things up, make sure there's no loose ends, and really give the employer an overview of, hey, this is what people purchased. This is what this is the participation we had. This is the feedback I got. Really, I think kind of solidifies the enrollment altogether. And that welcome call actually comes from us. Our list bill premium department reaches out to every new list bill client that we have, and they bridge that connection. They make sure they understand when their premiums due. They give them options for paying it online, and builds that relationship between the case manager at Cincinnati and that client on the outside. The sales support and commitment that we have, we've got local, regional, and national expertise. As I mentioned at the beginning of this, we do have strategic partners that do this all over the country. If you've got a large case and you're going to definitely need help with enrollment solution on that, let us know. We do case consultation all the time with those strategic partners. We also train agents and train agencies to enroll this and use this as a market and a revenue stream for their agencies. Employer meetings, enrollment assistant. If we can be there, Nate and I are always happy to go out and help with enrollments, and we use that as a training opportunity. We can't be there for all of them, obviously, but if we can be, we would love to help you out. We prepare all the agent, the employer, and all the employee kits. They're sort of a standard issue, the way that we've come up with them. But if you get a kit and you think, you know what, I'd like these pieces removed, or I'd like things changed around a little bit, just let us know, put together a sample, we'll send it back to the supply department, and they'll build those kits for you specifically. Prospecting, marketing, and sales resources, obviously tip sheets and best practices. We come out with those about every quarter, and we continually like to share success stories so it can help motivate and help teach agencies where other agents are being successful with it. The last bullet point there, service excellence. I'll put our internal office or internal back office up against any carrier out there. I think it's the best in the country. Our people are always willing to help agents be successful with this and help you through any trials and tribulations you might have with a worksite enrollment. Talk a little bit about the potential in cases. Obviously, the potential here and what we're looking for is commission and premium, but these are average case results. Our average employee participation right now, meaning an employee purchases some type of coverage. They might purchase one policy, they might purchase 5 policies. An employee purchasing anything is considered participation to us. And right now we're averaging 40% participation. And I want to just hang on to that for just 1 second and let you guys kind of let that sink in. The average participation in the marketplace out there with these types of products in the industry is 17%. So we know that we have a proven method for getting the right results, and it's all about that education and that 7-step process. Average per week payroll deduction right now for us is about $10 per week per employee. So you translate that to, say, a group of 75, that means you've got about 30 people participating. That's typically a 2 or 3 day enrollment. You can see about 20, 25 people a day on a good enrollment with people, driving employees to you. And the potential for that after 2 or 3 days of enrollment, maybe a couple of days of setup, is about $15,000 of premium. And again, these are individual life policies, so the commission structure is the same as if you sold a 20-year level term for full underwriting. Talk about some potential clients. The target industries, number one right now is automotive. For some reason, mechanics can't get enough of our product. The sales folks in those automotive groups, sometimes not so much, but the mechanics are always willing to listen. Distributors and fabricators. I've got an agent right now that tells me every time he sees a guy roll up his sleeves, he knows it's going to be a good day. That's who he goes after, that deep blue collar. Those folks are not being talked to about these products and these programs, and they have needs just like everybody else that's out there. So they're great groups to enroll. Healthcare, with all its situations now and everything that we're going through, they see it more than most, the dire need for individual life insurance, because they deal with those patients every day. And manufacturing is always a good one too. As far as prospects within your own agency, obviously your commercial accounts, employee benefit accounts, insurance professionals that might be in a different business market. But one that's not up there is your own agency. I strongly suggest trying to enroll your agency first. That gives you a really good grounded feeling in how the process works from the inside. And that way it gives you a little bit more confidence when you go out and talk to the employers, so you know the cycle of business for this market. And there is our team, our illustrious leader, Eric Trask, the head of the Worksite Marketing Department, myself, Brent Grimes, Len Scholl, my counterpart that handles the eastern half of the country, and then our admin folks. Diana works with Len, and I get the pleasure of working with Matt. Matt sees everything that comes across my desk and sees every application that we write through our agents. So we're really looking forward to working with you all. Please feel free to reach out to me directly or Matt or the folks at Borden Hamman, and we're looking forward to you guys being successful with this market. So I appreciate your time today and look forward to working with you.